Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we are going to be talking about NCL, Holland, Disney. Oh, geez. And several of the major industry things that are going on right now. So we hope you stick around and participate with us. If you are new to the channel, I am your host, Robert, aka the Tall Man, coming to you from the very frigid Central Florida right now, if you couldn't tell from my hat. This is my lovely co-host and wife, Lisa, aka Mrs. Tallman. Not that anyone ever calls her that. As we mentioned, or as I mentioned, we are coming to you live right now from Central Florida. It's about 39 degrees where we're at right now. And believe it or not, it's going to be below freezing tonight.
It is.
So
hope everybody's staying warm.
yes, yeah.
They're trying.
And I know a lot of you folks up north deal with cold weather all the time. But cold here in Florida is a little bit different.
Yeah, we're just not used to it.
Now, let me take this.
Oh, come on. I like the hat.
Oh, I love the hat too. It's just we're inside and it's warm. All right, so let's get right into the news. I mean, there's so much going on. Let's start off here. So, breaking news really today, the NCL Prima broke away from its moorings here in Port Canaveral.
Yeah, when that storm front came through, it got a little gusty.
A little gusty. That's an understatement, man. We were rocking and rolling in the RV. Holy moly.
Yeah, and I heard the Coast Guard had recorded gusts around the Tampa Bay area at like 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, so that front passed through, and of course it hit Port Canaveral and snapped the lines on the Prima. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The ship was able to be wrestled back to the pier and tied back up. But yeah, it was sort of an interesting day here in Central Florida, and the cruise industry is feeling it as well.
Yeah, I think so. My goodness, that's stuff we're not used to here.
So yeah, so a little breaking news coming to you today here from Central Florida.
Breaking.
breaking lines and floating away. We're gonna get to some other weather stuff here in a couple of minutes. But weather's always a big issue. You know, these ships, they're not tiny. Even the small ships, they're not tiny, and they're huge side profile. So depending on which way the wind is coming, it's problematic when you run into a storm like that. And so ships can list, and in this case, it obviously was taking winds broadside, if you will, across the side of the ship, which is what stretched the lines to the max, and that was the end of that. Away from the dock it went. So thankfully nobody was hurt, and everybody's okay.
Yes, agreed.
So the other news with NCL is they have announced the name of their new ship, which is coming out in 2027.
Nice.
It is the Aura. A-U-R-A, Aura.
Nice.
It is actually going to be about 10% larger than the other Prima Plus class ships. So like the Aqua that we were just on here recently, it's going to be 10% bigger than that.
Wow. I knew it was going to be bigger, but I didn't hear the number 10%. Wow.
Yep, 10% bigger. And there's a lot more details to come out here soon. There's going to be 976 staterooms, of which 159 of them are in the Haven. And this is what I find most interesting, because the Haven, from a cabin standpoint, if you're looking at deck plans and space and all that stuff, the Haven is really about 20-ish% of the space that all the cabins in the ship occupy. And so the fact that it has 1,976 cabins, but 159 of them are in the Haven, that says a little bit to me about, how much space they're dedicating to the Haven. Neither a good thing nor a bad thing, just, dedicated. But I will add this, and it's a good thing, bad thing. And this is not new, but the Haven has a private elevator. It's the third elevator, the third set of elevators on the ship. You can see them on all the decks, right? But only people who are in the Haven can actually access that third set of elevators. So everyone else has to use the front and the mid. The aft elevators are for Haven only.
Interesting. I thought, isn't the Haven in the front of the ship?
No.
It's in the back?
It's in the back of the ship.
Okay. All right.
It's a yacht club that's in the front of the ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the Haven's in the back of the ship.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I didn't realize that.
I found that interesting in studying the deck plans, and it was that way on the Aqua.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just forgot. I knew that.
Zucchini. We're starting already. By the way, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are so glad you're with us. Patricia says it's 8.6 Fahrenheit here. Ooh, yeah, that's cold.
Brr, that's cold.
It's a lot colder than it is here. It's just the cold in Florida it just bites because of the humidity.
It does. Yeah, it just goes right through you.
Anyway, as a comparison, by the way, the Seascape, which is approximately the same size as the Aura is a little bit smaller. I believe it's going to be 169,000 tons. The Seascape, I believe, is 181.5, so it's just slightly larger. It's got 131 cabins in the yacht club.
Okay, so fewer yacht club on the Seascape than on the Aura. Okay.
And the World America, which is, of course, the size of an Oasis class ship, which is actually much bigger than the Aura, is only 170 cabins. And so I feel it's a better balance between, what's dedicated to that ship and a ship concept, which also makes it maybe a little bit more elite, not elite, but a little bit more special, right? A little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know where you're going.
I think it's just a little more special, right? Because the people that are staying in the Haven, more so than the yacht club, the Haven costs are much more expensive than the yacht club.
Yes.
Same concept, ship in a ship. There's a butler, and you have your own private spaces and private restaurant and all that stuff. But the spaces for the yacht club on MSC ships I have always felt very generous. In the yacht clubs that we were in and the spaces that we got to tour. Not been in the Haven yet. I know we've got some subscribers who are watching. Some Valerie going to be going on the Haven soon, so she's going to let us know her experience compared to the yacht club. So
looking forward to that.
I think exclusive is the word I was looking for.
Okay, there you go.
Not elite, but exclusive. Right? Because look, it's not an elite thing. Anybody that wants to pay the cost of the cabin can go into the yacht club or the Haven, but it would be a little bit more exclusive. So.
Gotcha. Exclusive. Yeah, that's a better word, I think.
Anyway, so let's get on to some more of the fun news. At least I think it's the fun news, and we want you to chime in. And that is why we do this live instead of just doing a prepared video, is we want to hear your comments on things. All right? So Disney has announced they are raising their price of their internet. Go get GigSky now, everyone.
Quickly.
GigSky. There's a link down in the description of the video. As little as $19.99 for an entire cruise.
Not the Disney ship. That's GigSky.
Yeah. For Disney, the standard internet rates are now going to be $30 a day per device.
Ouch.
And if you want premium or surfing, $49 a day.
Yikes.
Just say $50.
GigSky.
Times 7 days if you're on a 7-day cruise. That is $350.
Yeah. Yikes.
Even just if you want to check your email or browse, but not stream or surf or anything like that, that's still $210 for a 7-day cruise.
Yeah, that's too much. That's crazy.
You guys get the same stuff on GigSky for a 7-day cruise. $32 using our discount code. Again, down in the description. I think internet's getting crazy. I mean, I literally think it's getting off the charts crazy. It just is going up and up and up and up and up, and it doesn't seem to be any reason for it.
No, and you still have. I mean, you're at the mercy of the sea. Starlink. You're at the mercy of Starlink because you're out there in the ocean. You don't have. It's not hardwired in.
No.
So service can still be sketchy depending on weather conditions and
exactly correct. I mean, we've been on ships and the Wi-Fi has been great, and then all of a sudden it will drop.
Yes.
And then it'll come back because it is a satellite sort of thing. And so, I mean, those prices are just incredible.
I agree.
Incredible.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Incredible. Now, we've never been on a Disney ship. So, but it doesn't matter to me whether we have or we haven't.
But, you're going to pay more for a Disney ship, but, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi from ship to ship. So,
yeah.
Wow, that's
Starlink is Starlink, or internet connection is internet connection across the board, if you will. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? Is that a little excessive?
I think that's excessive.
$30 a day or $49 a day. Of course, Disney does a lot of 3-day and 4-day. And so you're looking at, anywhere between $90 to $200, but still, again, mind you, that's per device. One of the other things, again, we're not here to 100% preach about GigSky, but if you put it on one device, you can actually tether to that device and use it as a hotspot. So you don't have to do it on every single device. So yeah, we absolutely love GigSky. We've used it a bunch. We talk about it a lot. Again, there's a link down in the description for the full video. If you're new and never heard about GigSky, there's a link down in the description. You can watch that video after this if you like. Essentially, real quick, your phone needs to be unlocked. That's it. Needs to be a newer phone, like I think 2013 and newer, something like that. And outside of that, it'll work. Now, it is not unlimited data. Like on a 7-day plan, you're going to get a gig, right? So you're not going to sit there and stream videos all day. But if you want to check your email, upload pictures, even some videos, to your social media, take a few calls, on WhatsApp or FaceTime people, that's all great. Lisa on her phone has GigSky all the time and has never, ever, ever burned through all of her data. And she's the one uploading all this stuff to Facebook all the time. However,
I've always had plenty.
one time she forgot and started watching our streams live. She just opened the phone but still, you got like
I had it for days.
4 days.
Yeah, I did. I streamed our shows
Crazy.
live for days.
So yeah,
and then I killed it and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I shouldn't have been doing that.
Anyway, so what do you guys think? Internet getting crazy? Let's see here. Little 101 says, I like GigSky.
Me too.
Hey, Larry, what's up? Disney should be ashamed of itself. Yeah, I agree, Larry. I really do. Mouse Mafia is still getting out of control. Yeah, it really is. What's up, Tuesday? How are you doing? For $100, I got a year internet access in 200 countries. I'm okay with being offline a while on a ship. And a lot of people are like that, which is fantastic. We used to be like that with our phones. We get to a ship, chuck them in the safe, lock up, and done. Of course, now, all the ships you get on, you have to use your phone for the app, and you need to do this, and if you need to check in for dinner, you need the app. They're really now pushing using the app and using the phone.
Yeah, they've really gotten app heavy.
And of course, doing what we do, we're connecting ourselves, obviously, to the internet because we're streaming. So
yeah, I used to wait until after the cruise was over, and when we got back on land, then I was everything. But now with GigSky, I mean, nightly when we're on the ship, as long as we don't have anything else going on. But yeah, I try to do that every day now.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $30, $31 and change with our discount, something like that. So yeah, love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I'm glad you guys feel the same way. Trisha said that didn't use internet the whole time on the ship. Found Wi-Fi to tell my kids I was still alive. Save your money. She was talking about on our event cruise in 2025 in November on the
Carnival
Horizon. That a lot of the ports you can pull in and they'll have free Wi-Fi. Of course, you're now sort of at the whims of
international
public.
rates.
No. It's Wi-Fi.
Oh, gotcha.
Wi-Fi is
Okay,
Wi-Fi.
gotcha. Yes.
But it's an open source foreign thing. I personally don't like to use those. That's just me. But that's just me. Anyway, hello, Valerie. How are you? Good to see you. And of course, everybody else as well. We didn't say hello to everybody, but hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the internet's getting out of control, everybody. I really do. And Disney's doing it. And I'm telling you, before you know it, everybody else is going to jack up their prices a little bit too. So
GigSky.
Get your GigSky. So we were talking about weather with the Prima breaking loose, but here's a more, I think, serious weather situation. So just a couple days ago, the Holland America Noordam was in Papua New Guinea. They're in the midst of a 42-day cruise. And at the island they were at, I forget the name of the island they were at, they were having to use the ship's lifeboats as tenders. They still call them tenders, even though they're lifeboats. But and they were using those tenders to shuttle people back and forth. Well, in the middle of this process, a storm came in. And it was so bad that they could not tender anymore. But there were already a bunch of people on the tenders, and it wasn't safe to bring the tenders up alongside of the ship, so they couldn't get them off. They couldn't bring them back to the port because it wasn't safe to dock in the port. So these poor people were stuck in these tenders for 90 minutes
90
waiting
minutes.
the storm out.
That's crazy.
Now, there's video of this out there. These tenders, well, first of all, let me say, congrats to the crew that were in these tenders, that were taking care of the boats. They kept them safe, right? So nobody got hurt. That was fantastic. So, guys, amazing job. Applause. However, these storms don't show up in 2 minutes.
No, I agree.
Here's my problem with this. These ships these days, they have state-of-the-art radar. I'll be honest, as good, if not better, than your local weatherman. You can see these things coming, not just on radar, but you can look up and go, hey, look at that dark cloud over there. It's coming this way. It just felt like an earthquake that just happens and you don't know it.
That, to me, it just seems unbelievable that that squall snuck up on them. Those people should have been off the tenders. They should have been either on the island or on the ship. I just 90 minutes those tenders bounced around up and down on the waves, and that just to me is unbelievable.
Now, it is unclear how many people were actually in the tenders. We do know there was approximately 700 people stuck on the island for this 90-minute period. But I'm more interested in those poor people that were stuck on these tenders for 90 minutes. And I think it's a crime that they did not stop the tender operations prior to the storm blowing in.
Yes, I agree. I mean, they should have had plenty of notice to get everybody off of the tenders. And like I said, either on the island or on the ship. We're going to suspend operations.
In this case, it was leave them on the island. The storm's coming in. It's 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes away. It's a 15-minute trip to the ship. We don't have enough time to get you off safely. Everybody, please go find shelter, hunker down here, and then take those tenders back out empty, right? But to go, let's push the envelope and see if we can make it. Man, I can tell you, if I was on that tender, I'm not a happy camper.
No, you're not. They would literally have to carry him off the tender.
Yeah,
it's not like it's like a nauseous thing when he will totally black out. And yeah, they would have had to carry him off.
So I can imagine, again, as I said, no injuries. I'm sure there were some people that were seasick.
Oh, I'm sure there were plenty.
In the video, you can see the door of the tender, flipping up and stuff. In fact, it was so breezy, so windy. I mean, there were deck chairs flying off the top of the ship. This was not a small storm. And so I just don't understand the cruise line's attitude in a situation like this.
Or their decision-making process. I mean, what
Maybe
were
that's
they thinking?
The better word. Exactly, the decision-making process. And what I find interesting, it honestly, this happens a lot. Not people stuck in a tender in the middle of a storm, but poor decision-making on the part of the crew, whatever the crew member. I'm not picking on the captain or the staff captain or the servers or anybody else. But in general, a lot of poor decisions are made. Now, this one could have had, honestly, catastrophic, it could have had a catastrophic outcome. What if the people who were piloting the tenders made a wrong move and they got swamped and the tender flipped over? Now what are you going to do? Right? So I don't know. I think it was a poor decision to try to run these people and try to beat a storm.
I totally agree. I mean, even if they had, people were going to be upset no matter what. Because you've got 700, was it?
700 people stuck on
that were on the island.
Yeah.
The storm starts rolling in and they're going to come running for the tenders like, oh, we got to go back to the ship. And what if the tender operation is stopped? I mean, I get that, But at the
Oh,
same time,
I will.
safety is,
It's way more
there's
important.
shelter right over here. Go over there.
Yeah.
Wait. The tenders will come back after the storm's over.
I mean, enter the Prima into this. This wasn't out of sea. It was just tied up to a dock.
That's very true.
Squall line rolled in, literally snapped these rope lines, like
Yeah.
a lot of them, not one, not two, but enough that it floated away from the dock.
Yes.
Right.
Well, once one of them gives away, it's like
it
it
puts the stress on the others.
On the rest,
Yeah.
and they all do pop for the
Yeah.
most part. Yeah.
So now, of course, the main ship was out in the ocean. I mean, close to port, obviously, but was out there, and it probably didn't feel a lot of rocking, maybe a little bit. But these little tenders, boy, they were up and down and all over the place.
They definitely were, without a doubt.
So let's see what you guys have to think about that. Danny says, by the way, seasoned traveler, sister-in-law here with us. Shout out to Carolyn and Eric. So there you go, Carolyn and Eric. Shout out to you.
Welcome.
Thanks for watching. Angie says, I'd rather take the chance and trying to win in the casino than paying over $300 for Wi-Fi. Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
True.
Disney internet price.
My luck in the casino.
Yeah. With our luck in the casino, here's your money for the internet. At least we get something back in return for it.
Might be right.
Macrina says, Disney internet price is same as the park. Charge it and they will pay, right? Yeah. Right. They make use of your phone with their app to stay connected to the ship to know what is going on, right? All the time. Couldn't find free Wi-Fi in Bonaire, but did find it in Aruba and Curacao. Okay, there you go. All right, little one. Yeah, have to watch public Wi-Fi. You might be giving others your data. Yeah, you do.
Definitely don't want to be punching in you checking your bank account.
Yeah.
Anything personal, stay away from it.
Little one-on-one says, just seeing a cloud rolling in, they were trying to outrun it. Yeah, that would have been my thought. Like, okay, let's outrun it. Because here's to me what the decision was. All right, here's the storm coming in. We're looking at the radar. This storm isn't going to be quick. It's going to be around for quite a while. So we probably try to get as many people on board as we can so we're not late leaving, because tender operations we're going to have to eventually shut down because of the bad weather. So yeah, load those boats up, try to get as many on as we can, and the ones that we don't, well, they'll be safe in the tenders. That's the conversation, maybe not word for word, but I'm telling you that's the conversation that happened, because they're trying to stick to a schedule.
Yeah, I'm sure the departure time did play into it some way, but wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Macrina says, Robert, that would have been horrible, but extremely horrible for you. Yeah, it really would have been. Tenders equal barf bags.
Lord, I hope they had a bunch of on those.
Port bunkers. Common sense costs nothing, right, Patricia? Unless it was a freak fast storm that can happen. Folks need to use their noggins. Yeah, I mean, freak storms absolutely do happen, but it doesn't happen in a couple of minutes.
We've seen storms that, watching radar, there's nothing out there, and all of a sudden it builds and explodes. I mean, we've seen that.
But it's still 10, 15, 20-minute process.
Typically, yeah.
Right?
It's not, it's...
And if that was what it is, it's enough time to do the appropriate thing, which if it was a flash sort of storm, turn the boats around, right? If they didn't have enough time to get to the ship to unload, maybe they had enough time to get back.
I don't know, maybe.
Either way, I don't know. Tenny's like, they missed it. Shout again. Oh, my good God. Is that good, Danny? Shout out to Carolyn and Eric. Welcome, y'all.
Well, I was wondering what we were shouting about. Hey, welcome.
Little one says, tenders better have a bar to have some. Yeah, no, you've been on a tender. They don't have a bar.
Not the ship tenders. I mean, they're designed for to be lifeboats. Now, they do use them for tenders if the island or destination that they're going to doesn't have enough or adequate or whatever, maybe not even any tenders. They will use the lifeboats, but no, they don't have bars on them.
No, they don't. They do not.
Honestly, if they had bars, the drinks would have been.
I know, there would have been drinks everywhere. It's crazy. Angie says, even though I only get seasick when it's rocky, and I'm also claustrophobic, being stuck in a tender for 90 minutes probably would have, you would have needed a stretcher at the end. Yeah. Look, tenders are there for a reason. Not tenders, excuse me, lifeboats. If there's an emergency on the ship, I don't think anyone in their right mind is going to have a problem crawling on a tender and getting off the big ship if there's a problem on the big ship.
Definitely not.
And if it's in the middle of the storm, I'm going to be happy. You can carry me off the tender later. We're talking about life and death here.
Absolutely.
Right? This is not life and death.
No.
This was a beautiful day visit to an island in Papua New Guinea. It didn't require shoving the people on the tenders to try to outrun it. And that's just our opinion. I don't know, but a lot of you kind of seem the same way as we do. So
yeah.
Bev says, I've experienced microbursts that seem to arrive out of nowhere, but those are usually over and done within 50. Yeah, this was a 90-minute storm. That's why I was like, this wasn't this was, here it comes, just like today here in Central Florida. Here it comes.
We've been watching it for a couple of days now.
Little 101 says, a bar is my life. I can't walk straight sober.
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you all feel the same way we do. I when I first saw the story, I was like, wow. I mean, this is something we got to talk about. So anyway,
Yeah, that's crazy.
speaking of talking, last week we talked about the P&O Britannia and what happened to that ship, and they missed several ports and engine problems and all this kind of stuff. And there was no compensation. And anyway, well, I guess they're listening and they've had a lot of pushback. So there is now, everybody's gotten a letter. They're now getting some compensation. You ready for this?
I the way you're saying it, I'm thinking it's probably not a whole lot.
They're getting a credit worth 25% of the cruise fare.
Okay.
Not a credit, a future cruise credit.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to have to be a lot more than that if people are going to go back on that cruise line.
Yeah. The reality is they've given up nothing.
They gave him nothing.
They gave them nothing.
No.
The comments from the people that were on that particular ship, I mean, I'm sure there are people that were fine and happy or whatever, but majority are like, never going on them again. This was a holiday cruise a lot of people paid a lot of money for, and they botched it up. And first gave them nothing, no onboard credit, no refund, no nothing. And they lost one island because of weather. Okay, get that?
Yeah,
Can't do anything
I'm
about
fine with that. Yeah.
But then, kept them in Barbados to try to fix the problem for a couple of days, which lost an island. Yeah.
And didn't restock anything.
Yeah, started running out of food and drinks.
No, you're in your home port at the very least. You got to have that bar stocked at the very least.
25% future cruise credit.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
That's just
It's
so
something.
that's just so they can say we offer you
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Nothing of value. Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. So, real quick, before we get into the other meat and potatoes, Galveston, the port of Galveston, which if y'all didn't know, by the way, Galveston is the 4th largest port in this country. We've got Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Port Canaveral here in Florida. Not necessarily in that order. And Galveston. Well, Galveston has received through several different grants $8 million in new funding.
Nice. Improve that.
So what are they going to use it on? So out of the 8 million, 2.83 million of it is to install a traffic light.
That's an awfully expensive traffic light.
One traffic light.
That's crazy.
Another $3 million they're using for a feasibility study at whether a direct off-ramp from 45 into the port will help alleviate traffic. $3 million for a study.
Wow.
They've just spent $5.83 million of their $8 million on one light and a study.
Wow.
There's a third thing. They're spending another $408,000 on evaluating bike lanes and sidewalks.
What? So all of that money and all they're getting really is a traffic light.
Well, there's right around 2 million that they don't talk about what they're using it for, but yeah, traffic light.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Really? That's crazy.
$8 million, and a little over 6 million of it, 6.2 million of it, being spent on one traffic light and a couple of studies.
Well, I can tell you right now, you need some more parking over there for some of those ports, so some of those terminals.
So look, and the easiest way to see the problems in Galveston is to look at a map overhead and look down. A lot of the terminals are all but next to really the main road.
They are.
There's not a lot of parking space. There's just not a lot of space. Now, if you get all the way down to the far end of the port where Royal Caribbean's terminal is, there's a ton of space down there. MSC's also refurbishing the terminal right next to it. They have a ton of space. But the rest of the terminals, they're basically literally all but up against the main public road.
I remember when we went there to get on the Jubilee for the inaugural, there was parking lots like right next to the road, and they had this one lane little sidewalk that people were trying to wheel their suitcases on, and the sidewalk was crooked.
It was
So
a mess.
their luggage is just kind of like rolling all over the place, and yeah, not good.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that, to be honest with you. To me, again, the only way, it's not the only way, but looking at it, if you want more space, you got two choices. Eminent domain, you'd have to take some of the waterfront properties, or create land out into the channel a little bit. That would be the only way to get more space there.
Even if they wanted to build a parking garage, you've got to close it down while you're building.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you still have to find some place for them to park, at least temporarily.
Well, right across from the Carnival terminal that we were in the Jubilee, there is a parking structure. And it's hard to tell, but if I remember correctly, I think there is a like a catwalk that connects it. And it goes over the main road, which I think is called Harbor Boulevard. I could be wrong, or Broadway or something like that. But it's literally the parking structure, a main road, not inside the port, but outside the port. Then you've got a terminal. I mean, there's almost no space there. So I understand the reason for feasibility studies or studies, because how do you make space when there is no space?
Right.
So
that's going to be the challenging part. Yeah, I'm afraid probably, like you said, eminent domain. I mean, even that stinks, but that's probably the only option that they have other than, like you said, building land.
Yeah. So I just, at first when I saw it, I'm like, $8 million, great. They're going to be able to do some stuff, this, that, or whatever. I mean, they spent like 50 something million to upgrade a terminal.
At least level those stupid sidewalks, for Pete's sake.
But no, they spent $408,000 on a study about bike paths and sidewalks.
Yikes.
Bike paths. So you want to take more road, which you don't have enough of, and create a bike path?
Right, because, all the passengers on the ships are going to want to bring their bikes.
Well, again, the problem being that main street, it's public.
It is.
So even if ships are there docking, that street has to be used. I'm sure people, try to stay away at all costs, but probably people that have to use it to get down to the port. So I don't know. Galveston, I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's hear what you think. Macrina says, by the way, and I would assume the people on the cruise and tenders were not youngsters. I would agree 100%.
Without a doubt.
First of all, Holland. Second of all, 42-day cruise.
Yeah.
Right? So
very few kids.
Let's not rush these people off. Right? You know what I mean? To try to get them on the ship as quickly as possible, because we're going to have some downtime. Just anyway, $50 on board. They're going to lose money in the long run. Yeah, Gina, they are.
I agree.
And that's the stupid thing about all this stuff. And you can look at a lot of things going on in the industry, stupid decisions made. I'm not going to talk about the biggest one recently, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. But they're losing. If they haven't, they're going to see that reflect. Now, they're never going to say it publicly.
Definitely won't admit
Any cruise line is never going to say that publicly. This is how you tell. Watch the prices of the cabins come down. That is how you're going to tell if a cruise line is hurting or not. They can't sell out the cabins. They lower the price. And they, brush it off as, oh, this great sale, that great sale, or we're having this celebration, whatever it is. The reality is they're not meeting their quotas. They lower the prices to sell more cabins.
Exactly.
So that is something that we're going to want to pay attention to in the next couple of years.
Yeah, without a
Is
doubt.
how prices, see if they fluctuate. But I agree with you, Gina. P&O lost a lot in this situation, and it may have cost them a couple of bucks to fork up a little bit now, but that gratuity, if you will, showing that they cared about their customers, would have paid themselves back tenfold by not losing the customers,
Oh yeah, definitely.
which they now have. Future cruise credit might equal lawsuit. It's hard to say, Patricia, because look, these cruise lines write pretty ironclad contracts. And in the end, respectfully, they don't necessarily have to offer us anything for anything.
I don't know if you can prove negligence. They might
Well,
have something there.
In this case, with this ship, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Little 101 wants to know, where's the traffic light going? I don't know. And this is the craziest thing of all. Of course, you need traffic lights because people have to cross the street and stuff because it's a 2 lanes on either side, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 2 lanes on either side. But the traffic lights actually create more traffic because it stops and everybody backs up. But, I mean, you have to have them. You cannot have them.
Oh, well, yeah. When we were going on to the Jubilee, there were, roads that are coming. You've got your main road that goes where the ships are. And then you've got your crossroads that are coming in and trying to turn in. And so, yeah, you got to have traffic control. You have to. But one light.
Yeah, one light. Patricia's like, I'm in the wrong business. Let me install the light. Well, look, power has to be run. Concrete has to be poured. Roads have to be dug up. I know there's some things that, it's not just sticking a pole in the ground. I mean, I know about construction a little bit, but that is pretty darn excessive.
It is.
They can spend $100 million and it won't help the traffic. Just use the super secret ferry. Yeah. Take it out of Houston or before you get to Houston. That's what Danny says. Who uses a bike lane in a cruise port? Well, again, McQueen, it's
a downtown area.
You'll see. I mean the port, literally, it's the port. Go look at a map. There's not much inside the fence of the port at a lot of those terminals, and then it's public. It's the main road, and across from that are shops, like regular businesses. It's just like a small downtown area, and there's this big port. It was never designed to house this many cruise ships, and now they're trying to figure out how to make that happen. And so, I know in Tampa, there's chit chat, by the way,
a lot of chit chat
of creating a new set of terminals on the other side of the Skyway Bridge.
Yes.
The Sunshine Skyway Bridge. So they can start using the mega ships. You can't get the mega ships into Tampa because of the bridge.
Correct.
So they're considering moving the port. Maybe that's what you have to do.
You might have to.
Maybe that's where you should spend your money on your feasibility studies. Where can we move the port to? So congestion, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Gina, what a waste of money. I agree. I agree.
That's why we're talking about it, because we definitely agree.
Jim Bev's like, oh yeah, and I can guarantee there'll be cost overruns. Well, they're grants, so I don't think you get cost overruns on grants. I think that would end up coming out of their own pocket, the port authority. Wait, in Galveston, need at least 2 more exit bridges, more roads is needed, and more parking. But I do have a favorite parking lot I like to go to, but with more transit for the parking lots. Yeah, so a lot of the parking lot, again, you got to throw the Royal Caribbean terminal out. It's at the end, lots of parking, lots of space. That space down there looks great. The terminal next to it, which is MSC's terminal now, they're the one, and they're updating it and rebuilding it, I believe. That's going to have plenty of space. It's the rest of them. And a lot of they don't have parking structures. It's all surface. All the parking garages are outside of the port across the street.
Yes.
In the downtown-ish sort of area. Crazy. Anyway. Well, he's like, yes, there's a catwalk. Yeah, I thought. That's what it looked like in the picture. We took an Uber when we went out of Galveston
We did.
on the Jubilee. And so
Yeah, and while we were waiting in traffic in the Uber, that's while we were watching, all the people on the lopsided sidewalk with their
Yeah.
suitcases. Yeah, that was crazy.
Our Uber driver was funny.
He was.
Little 101 says a bike path. Have they lost their mind? Why would you need a bike path? I don't know. It's funny. And one of the cities close to us on one of the main roads, they recently installed this bike path, but with it, these little,
It's like a passing lane for bikes or something. It's
I
strange.
don't know what it is, but all it did was narrow the car lanes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Little 101's like, Danny, them private ferries and yachts. Yeah. Yeah. There's a ferry. If you want to know, Danny can put it in the chat, but it's before you get to Houston, you can take that ferry and it takes you right there. There's no need to deal with the traffic. Bev says it's Harborside Drive. Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was Harborside or Broadway. I knew it was one of those two. They could possibly use a bike lane there, though. Well, again, I don't know the bike traffic, but the traffic issues are created when the ships are in port. And if you create a bike lane in what is already a congested area, you're just making it more congested. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe instead of elevating anything, you elevate the bike lane.
Well, that'd be interesting.
I don't know. Danny says, hopefully they don't shut the neighborhood down around the port for a craft fair again. That doesn't help traffic either. Well, Danny, on the group cruise, they're going to be having their bike week there, so we're going to be dealing with some of that. So
we are, yeah.
Be prepared. Tampa, oh my God, I am still trying to recover from my New Year's cruise and all the driving. Yep. Port Boulevard Ferry. There you go, guys. Port Boulevard Ferry. Look that up. That will alleviate your traffic woes going into Galveston.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, so there is that. Positive note, by the way, for Royal Caribbean, they have announced their Points Choice Awards officially announced it. I think it leaked out a couple weeks ago. But what a great program. Instead of not appreciating your loyal customers, they're doing just the opposite. They have created this thing called Point Choice. If y'all didn't know, what this is on their three major brands, because they're associated with five, but they're three major brands: Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, or Silver Seas. It doesn't matter what cruise line you sail on. Whatever points you would earn for sailing on that ship, you can assign to any of the other cruise lines and their family.
Interesting.
So let's say you're already at the tippity top in Royal Caribbean. You've cruised there 6 million times, and you cruise 20 sailings a year, whatever. But you've never been on Silver Seas. All of those sailings, you can assign those points to Silver Seas.
Interesting.
And all of a sudden, you're now getting status there. So I like the fact that they're able to do that. The chart's out. It's been well publicized. I'm not going to put it here for you guys, but the point structure, essentially for Royal Caribbean, for the Crown and Anchor, if you're in an inside ocean view or balcony, you're going to get 1 point per day. If you're in any other cabin outside of the regular inside ocean view balcony, any other cabin, 2 points per day. Okay. On Celebrity, inside ocean view is 2 points per day. Balcony, 3 points. Ocean view suites, 3 points. Everything else, 5 points and up, all the way to like 24 points. Okay. And that's per day. And then Silver Seas, it's anywhere between, 1 point for 2 days. The chart's out there. But I think that's a fantastic thing, and I wanted to just talk about that briefly.
Nice.
Speaking of Royal Caribbean, we'll keep them in the news real quick. They have announced 2026 out 100% for Haiti, not going to Labadee. And again, to me, speaking of great decisions, that's a good one.
And I applaud that, not because I'm, against, going to Haiti or anything, but Haiti is, it's such a mess right now. There's no government. The government has been overrun.
It's more than a mess.
Yeah, it is more than a mess. And I think that is a very, very good decision. My thoughts and prayers go with the people of Haiti.
I know.
Without a doubt.
We have a group
it's not
of
a good time to bring tourists.
We have a storage facility with some stuff in it, and there are a bunch of Haitians that the community here in Central Florida that weekly load up a semi, a big 53 or 40 footer full of supplies every week, 40 foot full of stuff to go there. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just when we're done here, stay on YouTube, go in unrest in Haiti, watch some of the videos. The gangs are, I mean, they're riding around in the streets with weapons. There's very little to any police. It's a big mess.
It is bad there, you guys.
The gang actually has control of the capital.
They do.
Gangs, the biggest gangs there. So we knew it was bad, but we watched a video a few weeks ago. I put a link up in whatever live stream we were doing, and I don't have that link available to you guys now, but you would be shocked. But I applaud them for at least now, instead of going a month at a time. And that's what they've been doing, is a month at a time or a couple months at a time. 2026, out for Labadee. So thank you, Royal Caribbean, for making that announcement now instead of later.
Yes, agreed.
All right, so we've got one big story left. I think it's a big story, but before we do, well, first of all, if you're new to the channel, do us a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up, all right? The YouTube algorithm loves it when you hit a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel. If you love cruising and cruise news and anything about the cruise industry, come and join us. We are live right now from our studio here in Central Florida, but we will be frequently on cruise ships. We do a lot of detailed reviews. Again, check out our channel. You'll see all the stuff there. We'd love to have you as part of the Tall Man family. All right, we call it the Tall Man Clan. Additionally, we have a Facebook group. When we're on ships, we take picture of all the food, the menus, the activities, everything that is going on. We put all those pictures in the Facebook group. It's a private group, so you got to answer 2 questions. One, what was your first sailing, first cruise ship ever, and adhering to the group rules. If you don't answer the questions, it's just going to decline you, okay? It's an automatic thing. So please just answer the questions. We'll let you right in. We've had a couple people this past week that didn't answer the questions, and I saw that they tried. I'm like, I'm sorry. I try again. So just to answer the questions. We do have an event cruise coming up this year. We don't talk a lot about it, but you see over there right next to Lisa, November 8th, 2026, on the MSC Seascape out of Galveston. Come and join us. We're going to have a promo video hopefully ready this week so that you guys can see what we're talking about in event cruise. Those who are on the event cruise in 2025, they understand. This is not just a few people getting on a ship and hanging out and just, shucking and jiving. Lisa and I put on events for you guys and entertain the crap out of you, and lots of cash and prizes and different things. And that's why we call it an event cruise. It's much more than just a group cruise. And outside of the cost of booking a cabin, it doesn't cost any extra. This may be the last year we're able to do that, because it does cost us a lot of money between the prizes we give away. We had this whole backdrop made, just a lot of stuff. Okay. But if you want to go, send us an email. November 8th out of Galveston. We are not travel agents, so we're not the one booking it. We have a travel agent handling that for us. Her name is Kathy. She's done all of our stuff for a very long time. Almost all of our stuff. Because we were agents at one time, but ages ago. Anyway,
long time
we
ago.
will forward you Kathy's information. There's a lot of people in here already who have already booked. In fact, all those who were there last year, they're coming again. Why? Because they know. It's kind of like Carnival Quest. You know if you know. Right?
Thanks, you guys. We appreciate you.
Anyway, all right. So we're going to call it, we're going to have a new segment now. New segment. Silly comment of the week. We're going to call it the silly comment of the week. I'd like to call it something else, but we're going to take the high road. Silly comment of the week. Someone leaves me a comment. And the comment on our video is a Deck 6 public Deck 6 tour. Again, I just mentioned our deck tours, and there goes my toes cramping up again. When we do our tours, they're nonstop. Not a highlight. When we go around Deck 6, you get all of Deck 6 from one elevator down the right side of the ship, all the way up the left side of the ship and back to the same elevators. Maps, deck plan superimposed, little GPS, very detailed. Okay. The comment was, where are the cabins on deck 6? Now, first words out of my mouth are, well, you can only imagine. I'll just say that.
How about this?
I'm like, great, let me go and look, because I'm like, look, the video says public space. And at the beginning of all of our tours, when there's cabins and public spaces in the same deck, literally within the first 30 seconds of video, hey guys, we're going to look at, this is a deck 6. It's a mixed use deck. Some cabins, some public space. But in this video, we're going to look at all the public spaces. We shot another video. It's in the playlist on our channel for all the cabins. I literally do that at the beginning of all of our videos. So my first comment was like, you're just a idiot. Anyway, so then I go and look. I'm like, wait a minute. I pull up a deck plan. Deck 6 doesn't have cabins on it. It's all public space. Ma'am or sir, just look at the deck plan. There are no cabins on deck 6 on that ship you were looking at. No cabins.
None on this video.
I don't get it. All right.
I thought you were going to talk about me. I was asking him the other day if he was if he had finished his edit, and I said audit.
Zucchini. You're gonna have to tell that story. We'll save that for the group cruise.
I think that's
the event cruise. She's gonna tell the zucchini story on the event cruise. All right, let's catch up with the comments and then we'll go over the last story. Yeah, Little 101 says, when I park in Galveston, I park looking the ships right across the street, and in walking distance, I have the guard to say I crossed the wrong place. Yeah, that guard was not happy with us either. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Little 101 says, I'll be in Houston this week. Now I will be looking for the ferry. Exactly. Look for that ferry.
Nice.
Elaine says, just a reminder that the hotels are filling up fast for the annual biker event. Yep. Probably there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to stay out of town and then just Uber or drive in the morning of. It's 20 minutes. Stay 20 minutes away. You'll be happier. Little 101 was like, I just love my interior room. Awesome. If you know, you know. Woo-hoo. Event cruise.
Yeah.
Okay. Last story. And this is an industry thing. It's not from a specific cruise line, though I think the story started from a specific cruise line, but it's really about the industry. I know when Lisa and I first started cruising, and I know probably a lot of you out there watching started cruising, that cruising was really an amazing experience. From the minute you get on the ship, some of the cruise lines greet you with white gloves, hand you a glass of champagne, and on the way you go. Your cabin steward literally lived under your bed.
It certainly seemed that way.
Every time you left your cabin, when you came back, it was spruced up.
At least 3 or 4 times a day.
If you used the restroom, washed your hands, and dirtied a towel, it was clean the next time you came back.
Yes.
Turn down service every night. Chocolates on the pillow. Dress. You go to dinner every night. Everyone is dressed. I don't mean in tuxes every night, but dressed. Nice pants. And it could have been jeans, but typically nice pants, nice shirts. Most of the ladies would have been in dresses, whether it's a cocktail dress or something. Doesn't have to be. They could have wore pantsuit or whatever, but it was dressed. It was an elegant thing, right? Think back to and I'm not saying the Titanic because the Titanic sunk, but that era, right? The golden age of cruising. Everyone dressed. It was a thing, right? When did that thing go away? Now, I want to preface this. I don't mind a slightly more relaxed environment. It kind of sucks that you don't get the welcome aboard and the white glove and the champagne and the chocolates and the, stewards living under the bed and all that stuff. This really is about dinner and the main dining room. Okay. Now, none of what I'm about to say affects me one way or the other. I'm going to have a great meal. Doesn't affect me one way or the other. However, it is about overall experience. So I will ask this question to you. When was the last time any of you guys out there now, and I want to hear it in the chat, when was the last time any of you went to Seasons 52 or any other major high-end restaurant or a high-end restaurant, and somebody was in there in flip-flops in shorts? Please let me know in the chat. I want to hear this because this really has turned into the norm on cruise ships. Even though shorts technically aren't allowed, they don't stop anybody. Flip-flops technically aren't allowed, but they don't stop. And so to me, it's lost its allure, its specialness, right? It was always like an event itself, going to the dining room. It was an event. It was an amazing thing. Just, man, now it's like going to
Denny's.
Yeah, Denny's. That's a good one. That's what I feel like. We're at Denny's. I was thinking of Golden Corral. I know Golden Corral is kind of a buffet, and I don't mean the buffet, but I just.
It used to be like New Year's Eve. You know, you go out New Year's Eve and everybody wants to dress up and you're wearing your sparkly outfits and, you know, whatever. And yeah, it's not like that anymore.
No, but the main dining room is still supposed to be an elegant thing. It's not Denny's. If you want Denny's or Golden Corral, go up to the buffet. That's always been the thing, right? If you don't want to dress, go up to the buffet, right? Again, I'm not talking about putting on a tux every night, guys, but, jeans and a button-down shirt. Children, if you're going to bring your children into dinner, dress them appropriately, right? And for God's sakes, wear some appropriate shooting. Wear some appropriate shooting, everybody.
You can't talk to me about audit anymore.
Shooting. Oh my God. Shoes, appropriate footwear. The dining room is, and again, I'm not picking on anybody in particular because it's happening across the industry, but I will point out Carnival. But Carnival used to have linens on their tablecloth, nice napkins, full sets of silverware, this, that, whatever. That's all gone. Their dining room feels to me more like a Denny's or a Golden Corral.
It does.
Everyone else we go on doesn't. Every other cruise line we go on, the main dining room is still an elegant thing.
Royal, MSCs, all of them.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
All of them. I think it's just garbage. And that gets back, and I know people get upset when you use this moniker. I didn't create it, but there's a reason why people have started to refer to Carnival as the Walmart of cruising these days, right? Again, it's not specific about Carnival because the rest of the cruise lines are doing the same thing, not from the linen standpoint, but
yeah,
flip-flops.
There just doesn't seem, even though there's a written dress code, there's no dress code.
Adhere to it. Yeah, and the conversation was, dressy flip-flops. Dressy flip-flops? Are you kidding me? It's a flip-flop.
I love my flip-flops.
Great. You don't wear them.
I don't.
You don't wear them to dinner?
To dinner, but I love my flip-flops.
If she tried to, I'd be like, no, go change. No. Put on some sneakers. Look, we'll wear jeans and a polo. Great. Right? That's at least to their dress code. But I'd be fine doing button-down shirts every night if that was the dress code again. I mean, we used to bring all that stuff when we first started the channel. If you go back and watch some of those lives, we were bringing our tuxes and gowns, and we were dressing up every night, and it wasn't immediately post COVID, but shortly thereafter.
Yeah,
and it had been a little bit of time since we had been on a cruise, and when we go on a cruise, we dress.
We always like to, yeah,
right.
I think it's fun to dress up.
Yeah, formal nights, always in a tux. She's always in a gown, and now we are not.
Jeans
or dress pants.
Yeah,
jeans, dress pants, and a shirt, right?
Yeah.
But we've chosen that because we've had to give up one of our suitcases for gear. But we still dress appropriate to the dress code.
We do. We don't wear shorts and flip-flops in.
So let's see what everybody has to say about this. And he says, "Were those huts behind you rentable on the event cruise?"
Those.
Actually, isn't that in the Maldives?
It is in the Maldives. Yeah, I don't think we're going to the Maldives.
Yeah, we're not going to the Maldives. Sorry. But that's close to Papua New Guinea, I think, and we can go there and get caught in a squall, maybe.
Right? Maybe.
I had surprises in my room every night. Well, see, there you go.
Yes.
Yep. I love the towel animals. But the towel animals are not a surprise, right? It's now expected. It's now become, wait a minute, where's my towel animal? If
You know
it's
what I
not
find very funny about that, all the towel animals, they took away the linens because they wanted to save money in laundry, but now they're washing their towels because they do towel animals. They, not only in the rooms, but now they do them on the pool deck every, once a cruise. every deck chair is covered with a towel animal. So
By the way, this is not the last story. I have
I
another
just
one.
find that funny.
I have another one. Bev says, I love dressing for dinner. Rarely have the chance to do it at home. I know, right? And that's the other thing, right? Patricia says she wore a dress for dinner every night and then changed it afterwards. Felt nice to do it.
It does. And I do miss that, that we have our extra suitcase now full of gear, so we don't actually do that. But I still enjoy that.
I think they would absolutely have a fit if we showed up with 6 suitcases.
They probably would. People look at us like we're nuts to begin with.
Bev says, it doesn't really bother me, but I'm kind of looking forward to tablecloths on MSE. Like I said, none of this affects us at all whatsoever. We go to dinner. We have a great meal. Food tastes the same, whether the people next to me are wearing flip-flops or not. It's not about that. It's about the ambiance and the experience within the main dining room. What used to be a really high-end, elegant, really special experience every night.
It's all been dumbed down.
It's gone.
Yeah, I mean the food quality, that's not the same. It's just the whole thing.
And by the way, if you go into a specialty restaurant, they're not dressing there either.
No, they're not.
No. So it's across the board.
Is.
Danny says, I would like to dress up for dinner, but for those of us fluffy peeps, that would take a lot more luggage. Oh, dude, trust me, I understand. One of our suitcases was just like our shoes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he needs a whole suitcase for shoes.
Yeah, I got some big feet. Tiny shoes. They're huge. And, 7-night cruise, I'd probably bring 5 or 6 pairs of shoes because, different outfit. Anyway, ladies, you know what I'm talking about.
Our feet aren't that big.
Little one says, I was being called king at dinner on my New Year's cruise. Right?
Yeah, just for dressing nice.
They didn't dance on everything like they used to, but they were dancing with the pole. Cruising Chris M says, I wear something for dinner that I wear at Ponderosa. There you go. What's up, Chris? Don't the waiters dance on the tables? Not on every ship and not so much anymore.
Yeah, I think that has gone away. Unless there's a specific a table like a waiter station.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Gina says, I feel the same way about the Kennedy Space Center for the Performing Arts. What was once an elegant place where people dressed to see a show, now I see jeans, tennis shoes, and flip-flops.
Yes.
Right? Dressy flip-flops sounds like Crocs.
With all of the little Croc charms.
Yeah. No, these are flip-flops with like sparkly stuff on them.
I've seen some with little jewels. They're all bejeweled. Yeah, those are fancy flip-flops.
That's like, there's a big difference between flip-flops and dressy sandals. Not. I like to dress for dinner and change to warmer clothes afterwards. Yeah.
That's what I always did.
That's what we did too. We dressed for dinner. If we're going to go to a show, we go to a show, whatever we're going to do after dinner. Again, this was pre having the channel and broadcasting live. And then we would go and change after that and then go out again and go to the club or do whatever after that. Right. So yeah, take pictures and all that stuff before dinner. My opinion, no such thing as dressy flip-flops, just expensive ones. Yeah. Right. I agree. Little 101 says towel animal was a bat hanging from my vent. I didn't see it until I walked out. Oh my gosh.
You should pop your head with it.
Bev says not a fan of Crocs in formal night either. No. Cruising Chris M said, I used to have to dress up for work. Now I have an aversion to dressing up. I understand too. I used to wear, a tie and suit a lot. And, was never my thing. Never liked to do it, but always felt good when I was dressed like that.
Yeah.
I was like just puffed up a little bit, but I do get that, Chris. I remember old time cruising on the Norway, had like 14 pieces of flatware on the table. I know, right? And it was silver and they polished it nightly, right? The days of elegance are so gone.
Yeah, I remember seeing the staff polishing the glasses and the
Yep.
silver and stuff. Yeah,
Carol also likes dressing for dinner. I have one pair of dark tennis shoes and, and one pair of slides, dark shoes, and a Henley.
shorts.
Dark shorts, sorry. Mama Tall Man says, that's what I do. One suitcase for shoes. I do miss the tablecloth, though.
Yeah.
Yep, miss the tablecloth. All right, so it's not just us. Like I said, the flip-flops are not going to change the quality of the food, but it changes the quality of the experience. And these days, everything that we do is about experience. That is why the cruise lines are building bigger ships with so many more things to do on the ships, because it's become an experience. But what have they done? They've taken out one of the really fun experiences and allowing what goes on in their main dining room to go on. So guys, it is about experiences. Adhere to your dress code. Do not let this type of dress wear in there. You already have the dress code. I'm not telling you to change anything. Just adhere to it. No shorts, no t-shirts, no hats, right? No flip-flops, no bathing suits.
Yes, I've actually seen a swimsuit with a cover up in the main dining room.
Man, okay. On to the last story. It's something that I brought up last week and forgot to come back to it. And oddly enough, it's actually been bugging me all week. And I should have let off with it because I almost forgot about it again. So, why in good tarnations can we not get an appropriate straw on a cruise ship? Can someone out there in cruising land, YouTube world, in the interweb tell me why we can't get an appropriate straw with drinks on a cruise ship?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the cruise line story, because we're trying to be more green. And so that's why they've started not carrying smaller bottles of water, because they don't want the single-use plastic bottles. They're now only stocking bigger bottles, so it's less plastic. But I don't know how many of you are aware of this. I'm sure you are. I don't know. If you're not, I'll educate you. Everything on a cruise ship is recycled. Everything. Every bag of garbage that is collected goes down to the refuge center, is dumped and sorted. All of it. Cans get crushed, bottles get smashed, paper gets in another bin and then ultimately incinerated. Extra food gets ground up and eventually becomes fish food when they're in certain depths. Plastic all gets recycled. All of it. So why in the can we not have a straw?
Yeah, I got nothing. Because those paper straws, even the candy straws,
No.
they just dissolve and it's weird.
No, look, I know in the world there's this push to be eco-friendly and green and this and that and all this. Look, I understand. But the reality is, on a cruise ship, everything is recycled. Now, it never used to be that. Go back years. Man, they were dumping crap overboards. Cruise lines have been fined millions and millions and millions, probably in the billions of dollars.
That's true.
For not properly handling their refuge. But these days, that is not the case. Everything is recycled. There are dozens, if not hundreds of videos that you can watch right now on YouTube of what they do with their garbage and how it's handled. And so even now, I know in other places in the world, it's different. In America, there's not a single fast food restaurant, to my knowledge, I did some research on this, that is using paper straws or the candy straws.
I don't know if
McDonald's,
that
Burger King, they're all plastic straws. And I promise you, as a chain,
They are not recycling.
No, not just that, but they're moving more straws than a cruise ship every day.
True.
McDonald's, just in this country, add up all the McDonald's in this country, add up all the cruise lines in the world, McDonald's is pushing way more straws a day, if you were not pushing, but using, than on a cruise ship. But yet a cruise ship recycles everything. And the excuse is not just being more eco-friendly, but taking care of the seas. What does a straw have to do with taking care of the seas? At least in this case. Because we're not talking about, sitting on a beach and you don't pick up your trash and the tide comes in and washes it out. We're talking about being on a ship. Now, is there going to be some occasional person that loses a straw and it goes overboard? Potentially. Wind comes up. Might blow
That
a straw
squall.
away. That squall could potentially blow a straw away. But those are isolated incidents.
Agreed.
But there are some cruise lines that have actually stopped giving straws out with most drinks. You can only get them with a frozen drink.
Interesting.
Yeah. I again, I think this is another one of those, are you kidding me moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, everything is recycled. So
Yeah.
it gets put in a big bundle and it gets taken off the ship at each port, or at the home port at least.
Yeah.
So
Home port.
yeah,
Yeah, that's also
it's I don't know.
that's also why I just the whole single use plastic thing, because it's all recycled, every bit of it, and it's turned back into another whatever. I had some fluff on there. Sorry.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. All right. What I want to hear your thoughts. I know. Was it Ashley who brought her own straw with her?
Yes. Yeah.
Ashley literally brought her own straw with her onto the ship because of this. It's an absolute crock is what it is. My opinion.
I actually like the idea of bringing my own straw. I think that's I'm gonna have to start doing.
Patricia, by the way, is like, I bring 5 pairs of shoes. Macrina, I had about 8 pairs of shoes. And I cut it back from over the years.
I've cut back considerably on my
50
shoes.
feet. I couldn't bring 8 pairs of shoes. It would be an entire suitcase. My big feet. It's the turtles and the sea life. Well, I mean, that's the claim. Again, we're on the ship. The turtles aren't on there. The sea life's not on there. They're no longer dumping their bags of trash over the back of the ship like they used to do. Everything is recycled. All of it is recycled. It's like plastic ends up in the oceans. It does. It does. But these days, it's not from the cruise ships. It's from other things. And look, I've seen plenty of videos as well, third world countries that their waters are disgusting. And it's filled with garbage, not just plastic, but just garbage in general, right? So we're talking about floating hotels with fully functional infrastructure that allows and mandates recycling.
And there's a lot of beachfront restaurants that none of them I'm aware of use the paper straws or the candy straws.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they all use the plastic.
Patricia's like, the sugar straws are no good, especially for diabetics. Yep.
That's
You're correct.
true too.
Little 101 says silicone straws are okay, but sugar and eat able straws in my daiquiri is not so okay. Yeah, I know. Yep. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity has decent straws. Yeah. Yep.
When we were on the Grandiosa, the straws that we had gotten, I think they were paper, but I think they were wax coated. I took one of the straws and I was gonna stir sugar in my coffee, and it just kind of crumbled. So that's why you just coated it in wax.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I found that interesting.
we don't bring them with us all the time, but we have these with us on a bunch of our cruises. Metal straw. We put our drinks in there. The funny thing was, we were carrying these around with us during one of our live streams, and somebody that was watching us, they were just hearing the clanking of the straw in the cup, and it upset them. We're like, it's a straw in a cup. I don't know what to tell you, my friend. Sorry. We don't carry those around with us. Why we're doing that anymore anyway. Bev says, I don't mind the straw, but only had a couple of fruity drinks. But if it's an issue, bring your own reusable straw. Bev, believe it or not, it's a big issue. It really is. They don't want the animals in the sea to get the straws. No, I agree, and that's the claim. But the straws aren't going in the ocean. Straws are going in the garbage.
Yeah, years ago.
And the garbage goes down in their center, and they recycle everything.
Yeah, years ago, lots of stuff went overboard, but not so much these days.
No.
The recycling is really much, much better.
That's like in Canada, most restaurants now use paper. That is correct. As well as even McDonald's and Burger King in Canada are using paper, not plastic. In the UK, there are certain areas that are also using paper, not plastic. But that pretty much is the extent of it. Macrina's like, I don't want a sugar strawberry in my spicy Bloody Mary. Ew. I know,
Right?
Patricia's like, that was my first viewing with guys in the jiggly ice.
You're going to have to explain that one.
That was my first
You
viewing
stumped us.
with guys in the jiggly ice. Yeah. You got us confused on that.
Yeah. Explain that one, please.
So yeah, by the way, if you're watching the replay and all of this, leave a comment. We want to hear your thoughts on all the subjects tonight.
Yeah.
Because we think there's a lot going on, and your comments do matter because cruise lines do watch.
They do.
And occasionally they will make changes based upon your experiences. So with that said, that is it for the news tonight. Ciao.